Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful day to be out here in Mineola. I'm Jamie Torres Springer. I'm the president of MTA Construction and Development. I want to thank all of you for coming out today. Especially want to thank Mayor Paul Pereira and his team who are here, as well as my colleague Kathy Rinaldi and our project executive from Third Track, Anthony Tufano. You'll be hearing from folks in a few minutes, but we're very pleased to be here to open the Harrison Avenue garage today. It's a long time in coming and a great moment to celebrate. This garage and the Third Track project are part of an unprecedented LIRR modernization program and investment in infrastructure to foster Long Island's continued economic growth for generations to come. Third Track will increase capacity by 50%, including giving us true bidirectional travel that's possible off-peak. It'll enhance safety. It'll make stations from Floral Park to Hicksville ADA accessible, reduce noise, enhance safety, and give the railroad the flexibility to recover quickly from a problem when a problem arises. We'll have more to say on Third Track and the completion of Third Track later this year, but for now, we're excited to be opening this new 5-level, fully ADA compliant 551 space parking garage facility to be run by the Village of Mineola. It replaced the surface parking lot and it adds 446 spots to this important need for supply of parking. It'll serve both LIR commuters and downtown Mineola establishments, which were in desperate need of additional parking to serve their customers around here. Of course, we're going to see more and more of that as we come back from COVID to those pre-COVID conditions where we were in desperate need of parking and this garage was much needed. The project is on budget and on schedule for completion this year, and it'll benefit the Village and Long Island for many years to come. I really want to acknowledge 3TC contractors, our partner in MTA Construction and Development and with Long Island Railroad in the creation of Third Track, who have done such a great job of building out that project over the last few years. Represented, in the form of our project executive, Anthony Tufano, who's been out there nights and weekends for years, making sure the project runs smoothly, and we're very excited that this garage has been part of that achievement. So thank you, everyone. With that, I want to pass things on to Interim LIR President Kathy Rinaldi to move us on before we do the ribbon cutting.
Jamie, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize in advance if my stuff blows away. Thank you for joining us. Jamie and his team have done incredible work keeping the Long Island Railroad expansion project on schedule and on budget. We're all really grateful and cannot wait to see the benefits of this project once it's finished. I'd like to especially thank Anthony Tufano, who's up here today, along with his team. William Hilsheim, the Deputy Project Executive, Jason Daybach, who is the Project Director, Stations, Garages, and Facilities, and Stephen the Project Director, Long Island Railroad Operations and Force Account, for their work on this project. I also want to extend a great thanks to Mineola Mayor Paul Pereira, who's here today, and the entire Mineola Village Board for working with us to get this project done. And of course, our Long Island Railroad employees who have been instrumental in all aspects of the Long Island Railroad expansion project. Mineola Station has long been one of the Long Island's busiest stations. To put that in perspective, it's the third busiest station east of Jamaica, behind only Hicksville and Ronkonkoma. Each weekday, 143 trains stop here, serving approximately 7,000 customers who call Mineola their home station. Prior to the pandemic, more than 13,000 customers were using Mineola as their home station, and we're hopeful that we'll get back to that number, especially with so many more options and so much more flexibility coming to the Long Island Railroad. Our morning peak trains can get you into Midtown in under 40 minutes. We all know the importance of adequate parking at our stations, especially busy stations like Mineola that serve as central hubs of connectivity between Long Island and New York City. With so much activity coming and going from around Mineola Station, it's important that we ensure proper flow for folks who are driving here to catch a train. We knew that we needed to expand parking here as we got ready for the Long Island Railroad expansion project coming here at the end of the year. And let's not forget the East Side Access service that's also going to be bringing Long Island customers to Grand Central before the end of this year. And it can't go without mentioning all the employees who are within walking distance here with businesses that employ thousands of people. We have NYU Winthrop Hospital just around the corner, the Nassau County Police Department headquarters, and Nassau County Supreme Court just south of here. I used to actually work there. All crucial services to Mineola and the surrounding communities. We are so excited to see Mineola continue to flourish with all the great things ahead on the horizon for this community. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Mayor Pereira.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Jamie, and welcome to all of you. I'd like to start by acknowledging my Deputy Mayor, Janine Sartori, and Trustee Paul Casado are joining me here today, as well as elements of our team. Deputy Village Attorney Peter Trenicas, who has worked tirelessly on this entire 3TC third track project. Our Department of Buildings Superintendent Dan Whalen, our Department of Public Works Tom Reaney, and our Treasurer Giacomo Ciccone, as well as our Clerk's Office represented here today with our Deputy Clerk Linda Pardo, as they interacted with the public, as well as representatives from the MTA, Long Island Railroad, and 3TC. As I stand here before you today, I can't forget that about 20 years ago we tried this. 20 years ago we tried this and it failed disastrously and infamously. And what was different this time around getting the third track done as opposed to in the early 2000s when we couldn't get it done? And this structure is a testament to why that happened, and it is cooperation. It's cooperation from the New York State Governor's Office and New York State government through the MTA to the Long Island Railroad to 3TC and to the subcontractors, communicating with the village every step of the way, communicating with our residents, having a robust outreach program, and it is because of that that we stand here today, as Jamie said, on schedule, on budget, on time, and as far as Mineola goes, you know, we think you saved the best for last. So hopefully, all along this 8-9 mile stretch of the main line, you have been learning, and you are going to do a perfect job here at our station, as I know you will, and I look forward to that completion later this year. This structure will serve us for decades to come as our downtown is revitalized and as our downtown grows and as the railroad grows. These 550 spots will be here ready to receive our commuters, our shoppers, visitors to NYU Langone, Long Island. And so it is something that downtowns need, and we are so grateful that we were able to be included in the process from the beginning. When the governor's office and the MTA and the railroad reached out to us and asked us what we needed, what we wanted, what was needed down here as they prepared for the Great Cross eliminations and as they prepared for the third track, we said parking. Of course, you know, Long Island, parking's a premium, and when you talk about, as Catherine mentioned, Mineola being one of the busiest train stations on the main line, parking is at a premium. So it is our privilege to take over this facility, this state-of-the-art facility, which is well lit, safe, patrolled, brand new, state-of-the-art, accessible to all of patrons, whether they be commuters, shoppers, or visitors, ADA compliant, and so it is my pleasure to stand here before you, representing the 20,000 residents of the village of Mineola in accepting this garage from the MTA, Long Island Railroad, and 3TC. So thank you very much.
A couple kind of sort of on topic. First, regarding the third track, I know you just got the Denton Avenue bridge project done. That was threatening to hold up the project. Now that that's behind you, can you say anything about whether there were any lasting effects from that delay, either in terms of budget or timeline?
Thank you. Yeah, we are very pleased. We did the push of the Denton Avenue Bridge the weekend before last. It went very smoothly, and the project remains on budget and on schedule. Another
related to parking, I don't know if this would be more for Kathy, but I know a couple months ago, both the railroads started a study having to do with parking at stations. And I know in the presentation there was some discussion about how the land near transit stations is sort of too valuable to be using up on parking garages. So can you talk about whether there is a change in strategy as far as parking at LIR stations, and whether projects like this maybe in the future will be fewer and far between because of that?
I think it's both of us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think the presentation that you're referring to is a couple months back by some folks from the transit-oriented development group and some potentially first mile, last mile partnerships. Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually within Jamie's group. I mean, I think, Jamie can speak to it as well. I mean, I think that, we're very excited to try to meet our customers where we find them now, where post-pandemic people are traveling a little bit differently. So we're looking to partner with local communities to figure out ways to get people where they need to go, recognizing that travel patterns have changed. I think you're probably better able to speak to the status of that particular effort.
Certainly can. Yeah, thank you for asking that question. We are very excited, as Kathy says, about different opportunities to service customers. We certainly recognize that there are a lot of stations where parking is necessary, and we're completing projects like this. We also, wherever we can, are taking a look at opportunities to create transit-oriented development around stations. Last week we announced a transit-oriented development project around Westbury Station that will be moving ahead. Really what we're talking about is not just the opportunity to bring housing closer to stations, but also retail services, amenities that people want nearby stations. And as you mentioned, the MTA is in the middle of a study called the First Mile, Last Mile study. It recognizes that there's not just one solution at every station, but the goal is really to figure out how to bring the stations closer to people and people closer to stations. So in some cases that might be micro-mobility, it might be bike share, it might be better opportunities for bus transportation to stations, and then in other cases it's an opportunity to look at land use adjacent to stations and think about what the future is. One of the great outputs of that is we'll be creating a tool that all of the towns and villages on Long Island and elsewhere excuse me, will be able to use to do good planning and think about what's the appropriate use to put next to a station. So it is an exciting time for mixed use and transit-oriented development.
And just wanted to confirm with you, you said it would add 446 spots to the area?
That's right.
Okay, and on budget and on schedule, when will it start?
The parking garage?
Yeah.
The parking garage, we're cutting the ribbon today.
Today.
So
And
yes,
people
that's
confirmed
right.
As of tonight. Okay, great.
On budget, on schedule for today.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
I have one more. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this my own personal press conference.
No, it's fine.
Sort of related to all this. So we see gas prices back up through the roof. I've wondered whether the Long Island Railroad and the MTA as a whole has benefited from that at all. Is there any evidence that people are leaving their cars in the driveway and taking the train?
So the past couple months we've seen, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nice sustained growth in ridership on those days. I mean, people are working a bit differently than they have been. So Mondays and Fridays tend to be a little bit quieter, but I'm very happy at both railroads to see the growth that we've seen Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. More and more people have been coming back post-Omicron, despite the fact that we seem to be having like a little mini tick up now. Week over week, we're still doing pretty well. So that's definitely good to see. Well, I think it's hard to tell. I mean, I think, everybody gets sticker shock when they pull into the pump. I mean, the prices have gone up again this past week. If you just see anecdotally, you're seeing more and more people on the trains in the morning. We did do a survey not that long ago that suggested that wasn't such a big factor, but that was some weeks ago, and the prices keep going up. But I don't know that I have any concrete information that that's really affecting the ridership that we're seeing.
All right, let's cut a ribbon. Follow Amanda's.